Alright, so the last of the 4 lords we get in this DLC is Vilitch, the Curseling of the Puppets of Misrule. He starts off with Chaos Knights, Lances, Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, Marauders, Horse Masters, and Chaos Warriors of Great Weapons. Vassals will gain increased barrier hit points and will spread Tzeentch corruption. Has access to Changing of the Ways. Forces receive benefits for having high winds of magic. Converts a portion of own battle casualties into souls. Has access to the Tzeentch teleport stance. Steals 15% of the experience earned by other lords. Has the Twisted Twin, a passive, spell mastery, melee defense, and melee attack. Effect intensity will increase with time spent in either melee or casting spells. Vilitch thrives in the midst of battle, reveling in the use of his strength and sorcery combined. So as you are, I guess, fighting, you will increase your mastery, melee, attack, and defense. Interesting. Keep in mind, Festus starts over here. Just to reiterate that. In case you want to see, so he starts there. Valkia starts over here. Festus is over here. And then Vilitch is right over here. So he's not too far away from where Festus is. What is the true purpose of those who serve within Tzeentch's schemes? The answer eludes Vilitch the Curseling, no less than his master's other puppets. Legitimized long ago as a horribly remarkable agent of change by the great conspirator himself, the disturbing creature known as the Twisted Twin acts with inscrutable intent, leading his hard-bitten host through war paths of misrule, disorder, and death. As the fate of a lesser god draws to its conclusion, the sorcerer Runt is soon to turn his attention back north, where broils something ancient and potent deep within the wastes. Most importantly, a rare chance to secure favor in the eyes of his master, and perhaps never be forsaken again.
Deep in the Chaos Wastes, a deadly battleground harbors dark promises. For its victor, great favor from their sadistic god. For the slain, damnation. In ancient Zambaijin, an accursed altar thrums with immense power. By Ursun's cataclysmic death cry, its eternal seal is weakened. Countless souls of fallen warriors, now laid bare. A ruinous harvest craved by the dark gods. Whispers of change reach Vilitch the Curseling, the forsaken master of Misrule. A chance to prove his worth to his scheming master, Tzeentch, the architect of fate.
None is worthy to enact his plans but me.
The souls shall be claimed, and with them, apocalypse is certain. But what horrors await the world? May the greatest champion prevail!
Vilitch and Tzeentch.
Silence, fool! I shall summarize our situation. It is my plan, after all. I desire this altar, but the dredges of this backwater claim it. End them. More vassals are required. puppets to enact our scheme. Raise a dark fortress in the ruins of the Citadel. Once we have an army worthy of the Twisted Twins, then we will march south. Past Troll Country lies Kislev, ripe for the picking. But they're an enemy, 'cause Dalton rules a pitiful religion. Yes, we shall, brother. There's much to do, much to do. Then get on with it!
I kind of already like this dynamic, and it actually feels familiar. I don't know who this reminds me of, but this dynamic of he's the big bulky guy going, he doesn't really talk, he just grunts, and this one is like, I'm the talker here, I'm the one behind the schemes, and like, he's like the guy on his back. I feel like I've seen this before, I just can't remember from where or who it's referencing, but it feels so familiar, that dynamic between those two right there, and I already kind of love it.
Vilitch!
Where he's just like, yes, yes, brother, I know. Yes, yes, I know, I know. Where he just understands his grunting. I don't know, maybe it's almost like, because all he does is grunt, maybe it's almost like Groot and Rocket, where he grunts and he's the only one who knows what he's saying. I don't know, maybe that's what it reminds me of. And of course, as you can imagine, extra barrier hit points. That's one of the things I always loved about playing as Kairos, was the idea of the barrier, like the shields from the Protoss, being a part of the army. Even though they may not be that strong and such, just the idea of getting, like, especially if you're low on health, like a shield on top of it to almost give yourself a moment to try and help protect yourself, and having that be a part of your entire army, to me, was just kind of an awesome idea, you know? Although it looks like not every unit has the barriers, only certain units, like the Chaos Warriors of Siege have it, so. And he is, of course, a wizard, a spellcaster, and armored. This, of course, is how they look up close. You can see he's, like, literally in the back there coming out. While he is just up front here with a sword and a big flail. Look at that flail. Yikes. So he has both pink fire and blue fire of Siege. Resilience and courage, mark of Siege. Wounds, the Twisted Twin. Of course, he's against Nurgle. Of course, he doesn't have a mount, but Warp Flame attacks for sword and sorcery and barrier hit points. His quest is the Vessel of Chaos, which I think is this thing right here. What he's holding right there. This Dark Crucible is a powerful artifact that can harness and store a great reservoir of unstable magical energy. Winds of Magic cost minus 10% for Lore of Siege spells, 5% ward save, changing of the ways cost minus 100% for Drain Magic, enemy armies in the local province, Siege Authority, and Vessel Chaos, which barrier replenish per plus 0.80% for 12 seconds, enabled of casting, triggers when casting a spell, replenishes barrier points of combatants. Okay. Like, I've always liked, the Siege, some of the Siege stuff, in terms of barriers and, like, how they play. They do, of course, have changing of the ways, just like with Kairos. Huh. Reveal faction intentions. The only thing that I didn't entirely like, so you start over here with the Altar of the Crimson Harvest, right next to the Bay of Blades, so we of course, well, this is interesting, so we start literally right next to the Legion of Chaos. He is right there. Huh. So, depending on who you're starting as, you're going to be at odds with the other one right from the get-go. And, of course, normally, if this was, say, the Immortal Empire's I would imagine that the Norska guy would be here as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at Vilitch in action. But anyways, one of the only things I didn't entirely like about the Siege faction was that it seemed like a number of the units in the army required good micromanagement, especially in battle when it came to, like, alright, make sure you put them here, and then make sure that you're positioning them correctly, but also swapping between either melee or aerial and such. They don't take a lot of hits, so you have to position them correctly and such, and it's like, okay, I prefer factions that are just kind of more straightforward, as opposed to, like, requires lots of micromanagement. But that's just me. I know that probably makes me sound like a very bad Total War player, but I will be one of the first to admit, yes, I am. I'm very bad and inexperienced at this, which is why I tend to play on easier stuff or even get mods to make it easier, because I know how bad I am at this. So, this is Vilitch. So, of course, he has the pink fire and the blue fire. And Arcane Surge. Ah. So, of course, we've got the Chaos Knights. With lances. They are really strong shock cavalry, right? Yeah, shock cavalry units. Marauder Horse Masters. Okay. I think one of the things I like about the Marauder Horse Masters, of course, because they are ranged cavalry units, missile cavalry, is that they can be able to, do range, and then if an enemy gets too close, they can kind of run away. But what I love are other missile cavalry units that can be able to fire while they are running. This is what makes going up against Glade Riders with Wood Elves extremely frustrating to play against, because you're chasing them, but they're able to attack while you're chasing them. When you have it, it's great, but when you don't, when you're going against it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is annoying. Well, this is a very...
Mortal fool!
I think this is one of those where I would like it if they could be able to, like, go over here.
Faster! Warriors of Cinch!
Have these guys come right over here. Kind of see if maybe... these guys can go over here and kind of maybe draw their attention or something.
This way, mule!
He's got Norse controls. So maybe I could do the blue fire against them in that regard.
Marauder horseman! Faster!
Of course, they're within range, so they can immediately start attacking.
All will be despoiled for the master of misrule. Cinch shows us. Go! Chaos Knights. Yes. Warriors of Cinch! Obliterate these pawns! Blood! Kill the Southerners! What? Seas of blood! Agreed! Kill them all!
And then they charge him from behind. Yeah, those marauders are done for.
As Char decrees! Vilitch the Cursling! Chaos Knights! Your will! Kill! Maim! Burn! Evil unbound! Vermin! White Sand!
Sorry I didn't get a zoom-in shot. Hold on. How fast is he? Can he chase him? Probably not. It's like you better run. I'm gonna catch you. He might be gaining on him, but I have a feeling the horsemen are going to catch him first. The Chaos Knights are coming. You better run! Oh, he got away. I would imagine that even though he's categorized as a wizard, that he would be decent both in melee and in range, though. I mean, considering that the bigger, bulk brother is supposed to, be this dual-wielding, Hulk, he should, be, the big heavy, While he is the spellcaster in the back. That's just what my impression would be.
Vilitch the Cursling!
So, those are the 4 Warriors of Chaos Lords for this DLC. If you, want to include it and try it out, I'll probably mess around with these guys a bit more, see how they are, as well as see about any changes to the overall campaign here, including, of course, how different this campaign mode is in comparison to, say, the main campaign, trying to, of course, get what we need to get to Urson. But anyways, if there's any more interesting new content for Warhammer 3 after this, I, of course, will try and see if I can cover it. If there are any more DLCs that come out later on. As you can imagine, of course, more stuff is planned for Immortal Empires and such. So I will keep an eye out to see what that's going to be like, especially any more interesting cutscenes or cinematics and such. So I will see you guys next time.